Hello, beautiful soul. Thank you for tuning in to Back to the Heart. If you are loving these conversations about healing, mindset, and manifesting transformation, make sure to follow the show right now so you never miss an episode. And while you're here, tap that star or heart and share this episode with someone who's ready to come back to their heart too. And if you want daily inspiration, behind the scenes moments, and a peek into my world, come hang out with me on Instagram at back the number two, the heart, the number two, love me. All right, take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive in.
Back to the heart.
What if the life you've been searching for starts the moment you return to your heart? Welcome to Back to the Heart, the podcast for people who are ready to release old stories, embody their truth, and create a life that feels aligned, safe, and real. I'm your host, Amanda Roa, Identity Expansion and Embodiment Coach. And here we talk about healing through storytelling, nervous system regulation, self-trust, and tools that help you come home to yourself. You'll hear powerful conversations with guests sharing the breakthroughs that changed their lives, and you'll also get solo episodes with insights, language shifts, and real life practices to help you reconnect with who you are and call in the kind of love you once believed only existed in fairy tales. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to today's episode of Back to the Heart. Today, I am welcoming my friend Jamie, who is a kinesiology graduate and 15-year ER registered nurse who saw firsthand what chronic disease does to the human life and eventually what it was doing to her own. So she was burned out from treating the same preventable conditions over and over, and she made a pivotal shift from managing disease at its worst to stopping it before it starts. And now Jamie is a master's certified primal health coach and combines her clinical depth with the root cause approach to help people rewrite their metabolic story before they end up in the ER, like the one she spent 15 years in. Welcome, Jamie.
Hey, I love that intro. Thank you.
Yeah, it was so great. It's always like such a feeling of wow when you still hear like all of the story right there.
Yeah. And having somebody else read it, because you have it in your mind, but it's like when you hear it out loud, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I did
Right?
some
Yeah,
stuff.
I did. Yeah, that's funny. I had a moment realization like that the other day. I was doing some work with my nephew, and I thought, well, I wonder like what he thinks about me, and I started had this vision of how he would describe me, and I was like, wow, that sounds so fun. I am all of those things. Look at all those things I've done. So yeah, it is fun to hear it from someone else to speak it. So I want us to dive into what your story is. I mean, 15 years working in the emergency room and then making a change to leave that. I know a lot of the listeners maybe are going through some questions and concerns. Like part of my story too was, hey, I was checking all the boxes, doing all the things, but for me, I wasn't reaping those rewards spiritually, emotionally, just all around the whole thing. So I like to share these stories and hear how people made these shifts. So just tell us a little bit more about where you were, what was going on, and what was that like back to the heart moment that you're like, nope, leaving this and going a completely different direction.
Yeah, I could go way, way back if we wanted to, but I don't want to go back to
Let's go.
childhood. But we grew up very poor, homeless, all these things. And even from then, you're built on, like, go to school, go to college, like do all these things. kind of followed in my mom's footsteps because she was a LPN. So I was always that child that was like, I want adventure and I'm going to step out and I'm going to be not the norm. I don't, but then I'm also an introvert too. So it's kind of like all these conflicts. But yeah, I went to school. I first went into EMS, so I got my EMT, worked on an ambulance for 5 years, loved the emergency side of it. So I'm like, cool, let's do this. Went into nursing school in 2007, bachelor's degree, and it was amazing and scary and terrifying all at the same time. But you're new, you're green. You do what you're supposed to do. You do what you were taught in nursing school, which is what I did. And being in the experience in the ER, again, we have protocols, we have care models, we have all these things to check mark lists. This person comes in, looks like they're having a heart attack. We do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. Like it's just that's what you do. Looking at some, all the things. And that was great, for a long time, seeing the trauma, like helping people survive. I loved it. But then as time went on and I kept seeing why is this person on 5+ medications that are supposed to prevent them from having a heart attack or stroke, but yet they're here having a massive heart attack and a stroke. And those things started kicking in with me, and trying to see like what are we missing? And then I did travel nursing again. My adventure side kicked in. 2010, started travel nursing, loved it, seeing the same things everywhere. I went to the Virgin Islands for 3 months. It's there too, like same things. What? I don't understand. And then my health started, things were happening on my end, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening? But yeah, and then, our COVID hit, and that's where it pivoted for me. That changed me a lot. Um, I'm gonna be honest here, it took me down. It took me down to a dark, dark place after that, because I was traveling then. So I went to New York, I went to hard hit places and seeing it. And I'm like, these people who are healthy, they weren't healthy. And then afterwards, we're still not fixing the problem. And watching these people just, that was hard. And I had to step back. I stopped traveling for a minute. But that trauma, I think that hit like, I have to keep going. This is still happening. I have to keep going, keep going, keep going. And it did. And I didn't listen to me. It took a hard hit from my mom, who told me one day out of the blue, she was like, what happened to my sweet girl? And I lost it.
Wow.
I was like, I don't know what happened to your girl. She's gone. It took me down. So, and my husband was like, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Stay home. Okay.
Yeah.
I listened.
Yeah. Our body is giving us signals all the time. And I think that's one of the, biggest challenges in society today, and especially in healthcare, is people not knowing how to listen to their bodies, not just pushing it down, not resting when they need to rest, not stop eating whatever you're eating that's making you feel sick, not stop wearing that shirt that's making you itch, or those chemicals on your body, those things that people don't know, and all of these things and drugs and environmental factors that are put upon people so that they don't know how to recognize and listen to their bodies whenever it's telling them. And oftentimes they get to a place like you were, like I went through a thing myself with my endometriosis where I wasn't listening to my body. And it got to a point where it takes you to a really dark, dark place. And thankfully, having support, right, to help pull you away from that and bring you back into normal, to bring you back, right? To give you another opportunity to see something from a different perspective. And it's like, if there is anybody that's listening to this, this is the sign of, if this is giving you a tickly feeling inside of like, maybe that's me, this is it. Like, take the opportunity to start making choices, make those decisions, to make the changes before it gets to the point where you hit the wall. You don't have to go that far. If you're at a point where the doctor's even suggesting that you get onto a medication, why aren't people asking? It's safe for you to ask, what are the options for me to look at something different? What are the options I can do before I need to take a medication? And I think most people can agree now that we live in this sick care system instead of the well care. And now it's coming out more prominently in, news and information that, that the well and preventative things just aren't taught in the education in the same way. And then you get into this regimented box checking. I mean, that's so many educators will say similar things in the education system. Well, very much the same in the healthcare. It's like this CYA, cover your ass kind of mentality that is out there, that even someone with the most genuine, pure goodness of wanting to help people and being out there to help people like you were, that if that's not available, that's not even an option. That's not an option to think on your own. It's just checking this box. There's no time or procedure to stray off course or look at what is the reason. Why is this person still coming back in for this same issue over and over, and they're taking this medication on top of that one that leads to this other side effect? So what can we do to just take a pause and consider, what are our options for not preventative at that point, if you're a doctor saying you may need to take medication, but what is the option before you get to that point? Like, what do you suggest? I don't know how to bring that back in, but I think that's the biggest confusion, is people don't know how to listen to their bodies and recognize when it's time to make a shift. And before you get to that point of, you're in way harder to come back from a challenge versus things are just starting to get a little itchy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, there's never a conversation, and I think that's because of social media and things becoming easier to research or look or follow people or whatever in their stories. But to have the conversation with your healthcare provider on what's the other option, and they don't have that, or they don't know. At least my clients, like, now that I transitioned to the preventative and reversible or fixing the metabolic problem, a lot of these people, they don't even know how to have that conversation, and they didn't even know that was an option a lot of the
Yeah.
time. Like, I know, it's not your fault. It's just, how we were taught and raised to listen to your doctor and do what they say. Uh,
Yeah.
like the boss, it's like, well, it's a partnership. We should have that conversation. What's the options?
Yeah. Well, so tell us about what types of clients that you typically work with and what types of things that you help people with.
So my clientele is typically like type 2 diabetics or pre-diabetics or metabolic. problems, maybe, trying to lose weight, but they can't, they're yo-yo dieting or anything like that. Um, wasn't, I didn't know that was going to be my clientele. But putting things out there on social media and stuff with my nursing background, and that's the clientele that started coming to me, and I was seeing the lack of education and knowledge around that, because even as a nurse, I was taught you can't reverse type 2 diabetes. This is a lifelong progressive thing. I was taught how to manage their medications and how to manage their blood sugar, not fix it. What's the root cause there? Never taught that. I had to figure that out on my own. And that was a whole other realm, even before becoming a metabolic health coach and going through my own medical situation. I felt betrayed when I realized, like, going back to my, kinesiology, and like we learned biochem, like we learned the body, and then now going into nursing and learning that. And I'm like, why these two things aren't matching? What you're teaching me on how to manage blood sugar and stuff like that, but why is the blood sugar elevating in the first, like constantly staying up there? Why is it happening? What's the root cause there? And then, my own, labs that I was looking at myself as a nurse, and like, even though it kept saying, everything's fine, you just have a busy, stressful job. This is why you're tired. This is why you don't feel good. This is why your joints ache. But 32 at the time, 31. I'm 47 now. It's like, I shouldn't have those problems in my early 30s. Like something's wrong. And then looking at my own labs and like, hey, I'm kind of hitting here. 5.8 A1C, like blood sugars are 100, vitamin D is like crazy low. Nobody told me anything, like what's happening. So yeah, it's going through my own health journey and then starting to put it out there as a coach, on the coach side of it, and then seeing people like struggling and needing help. I'm like, okay, let me help in a different way.
So what would you say, like the top first three things that you suggest for people? And obviously every person's lifestyle and situation is different, but okay, these are the three main priorities for you. If you're feeling like, yeah, this may be me, where do you start?
You mean like if they're coming to me and their blood sugars are elevated or something,
Yeah,
just needing some guidance?
yeah.
Looking at the food. Food is the hierarchy. That's the biggest lever to pull. And most people can't go from eating fast food 3 times, 4 times a day for decades to not eating. So realistic to whatever you're starting at. So that's really what I try to educate my clients and students on, like, where are you at right now? And what's the biggest lever we can pull, which is diet. But in your diet, what is the one thing you can change today? And
Mm-hmm.
typically that starts with breakfast, because breakfast or the first meal of your day doesn't have to be, we have to define that too. Doesn't have to be at 7, doesn't have to be at 8. When are you hungry? Your first meal? That'll set the pace for the rest of the day. Like, are you starting it out with a sugar cereal, bagel, sugary coffee? Okay, what if we switch that to maybe some full fat Greek yogurt with some berries in it? Can we change that one thing? Usually it's like, yeah, I can do that. That's like number one.
Yeah, so
Um,
starting out the day with a fat and a protein instead of carbs, basically.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because a lot of the story work that I do is so tied to the health, and it's the story that we've been told. Like you mentioned earlier, our, all generations, but especially our parents' generation and their parents, where, you believe absolutely everything from the guy and it was the guy in the white coat. There wasn't even a woman in the white coat. It was the man in the white coat. There's a whole nother episode. Go back and watch the sisterhood wound. Um, anyway, yeah, so that's part of it is people have so many stories of breakfast, and getting this idea that it was these sugary cereals, which, I just saw something the other day. I'm big on words too. Breakfast. Breakfast comes from break fast. So it's when you're breaking the fast of you eating from the day before. It makes sense. It's like you said, and it's different for different people, different times, and according to your body is, but it can make a massive sugar spike in your blood system, whether you're pre-diabetic or not. This is not a great way to start your day.
Yeah.
Like you may think I'm doing pretty great because, oh, that's not me. Well, it's not you now. So let's make that the preventative is start your day with something that is protein or a fat instead of sugar. And the stories also that go with, well, this is just genetic. I think that's such a big part of the story, and the story of, well, I'm just this age. I hear so many women, well, perimenopause and menopause. I'm like, actually, I mean, maybe, and if you're doing things to actively take care of your body and you're not talking shit to your body either, that's a big part of it. It's like you could be going to the gym every day and eating great, but if every time you eat that healthy thing, you hate that healthy thing that you're eating and you're grumbling, and like the energy of you behind that and the misery that you put yourself through doing something at the gym that you hate is counterproductive for what you're doing to your body. So the words are so important, and the language that we're talking to ourselves, and regardless of what it is, it's loving our bodies and knowing that if we take care of our bodies will take care of us. I mean, I'm digesting food as we speak, not by my direction. you know, I am detoxifying through my liver right now without my suggestion. So when we can trust in that and get back to that and start loving and honoring and respecting that magical miracle that's already happening in there, not talk trash to it and put trash into it, can make a pretty big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I 1,000% agree. And that's one of the change talk that I have to have with my clients a lot of times. It's like your body is amazing and it compensated and kept you alive for for decades. Think about how much you tortured your body,
Right?
and it allowed you to wake up every day and function. That is not by accident. Your body wants you to survive. It's doing everything it can. And now all of a sudden it's not compensating as good as it was. And this is why your blood sugar is kind of starting to creep up. But it
Mm-hmm.
wants to heal. It wants you to heal. This is the red flag on your labs. It's your body's finally saying, waving that flag like, hey, I need for you to start taking care of me a little bit. um, and it'll heal. It will heal when you give it the right inputs. It will heal. I firmly believe that, and I see it with my own two eyes. Even as an ER nurse, traumas and stuff that come in there all the time, we can only do so much. Like I'm great at holding pressure, putting my hand on a vessel to hold it closed so until the surgeon like they can get it,
Yeah.
your body, it's a miracle. It's it's a freaking miracle. Some of the things that I've witnessed, and it's like that person probably shouldn't have made it, but look at you walking. Look at what your body just did for you. It's amazing.
Yeah. And all those things were coping mechanisms that our body created to help us survive.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of those things, these stories, behind the habits of our eating, the stories of having, eating the cereal, eating certain things at certain times of the day that have gotten people off track and believing the narratives, of the poor habits in the food. Um, Whenever we can start rewriting those stories, choosing ourselves and choosing, like, I do have time too. I think that's a big thing of people eating in a rush and not acknowledging what they're eating, not eating it with intention of this is going to nourish my body. And that may sound a little woo woo if anybody's listening to this, but I believe, I mean, that's when you go back to people praying over the food. You can call it prayer, you can call it intention, gratitude, thanks, whatever you want to call it. But just like as we're saying, it matters about us talking and loving and respecting the power of what our body is doing and healing. It's going into that with the intention of the food too. And that circles back to one of the things, regardless of what health concern is out there. I think so many people lack the awareness to slow down and to rest and to take time to slow down to eat their meal, to chew slowly, to eat it with intention, to eat it sitting down at a table. I mean, this fast food world that we live in, even if you were picking up something healthy, which you're obviously not, if you're picking up a fast food, but just that energy of that in the rush and in the crouched position of eating and just the all of it is it's so counteractive to what our body needs.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That eat with intent is key. And that's something I had to work on even, uh, which in my EMS days, being on an ambulance, we had to rush when we ate, or
Yeah.
we didn't eat, or we finally got a break to grab something, and you got a call coming in, and you're like, well, shut this down,
Yeah.
go. And then that snowballed then to the ER nursing side of it because we
Hmm.
didn't get breaks again.
Yeah.
You just eat at your desk. And so that carried on to my personal life because my
Yeah.
my husband's a nurse too. He was an ER nurse. He was a paramedic ER nurse. Like he's that same, we both had the same thing. And yeah, we really had to sit back after a while, we this as the years go by, we decided, whoa, we need to slow down. Whoa, it's too much. And even over the past 3 years of now, I've stepped away from the ER and doing this, and he stepped away from the ER and he's in a different aspect of nursing now. We still find ourselves like I have over the last 3 years, I have to remind myself like we're sitting at the table, you
Hmm.
know, having a conversation. But a lot of times I see him and he shovels his food in because it's that
Yeah.
we've been conditioned from
Yeah.
our jobs, like just eat,
Yep.
hurry up and eat.
Yeah.
I have to
Whether
remind
it's our
him.
jobs or, busy moms and busy fathers and just everybody out there and it just feeling like this is hurry and get to the next thing, hurry and get to the next thing. And um it's it's so important to rest. It's like when we can create that time to slow down, I've
Mhm.
found that I feel like I have more time, which sounds like bizarre, but it's like just being intentional with those moments of connection, whether that is with your eating or just in stillness. It's like when I create more of those moments, then the next moments that follow seem to be more productive or something. It's like I'm quantum leaping in time or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And at first it's awkward. It's, when him and I sit down and eat and there's silence because, from our jobs, we always have the ding, 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 ding,
Hmm.
the phones and everything's um, but sitting down when we don't have our phones, we intentionally do not have our phones at the table. We don't eat in the living room like that. TV's off, we're in the dining room, nothing around us. but him and I. And it's sometimes we're eating and it's silent. And for a while it was like, this is really awkward. And then I'm like, how's your day? It's like trying to come up with a conversation. It's like, why is this awkward? Like we've been married for 20 years. Like, why does this feel awkward? It's like, because we haven't sat down in quiet and peace and just get to know each other again. You know,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's a change. And it can feel awkward at first, but keep doing it. It's just how it is.
Yeah. I think that is so powerful, and getting into a place where you can be silent and be safe in that space, and to just eat, and enjoy that space, and, be able to have those conversations. Like, maybe what if you're going out to a restaurant, but to be able to do that at home, I mean, we've shifted the way our lives are in the last 6 years anyway, with that. But yeah, I realized recently how much time there was always sound in the background, whether it was music or the TV or just something with noise, and how powerful that silence can be.
Mhm.
And I think that is a powerful tool in any couple getting back to their hearts, and getting back to a feeling of safety, is to feel safe in the silence, because our lives are so full of chaos and noise, that if you can find a space to sit in that silence with someone, keep
Yeah.
doing it. And if you haven't found that, like, practice, just try it. Sit in the awkward, uncomfortable silence sometimes. That's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, well, not I think, I know that it has allowed us to get to know each other because there's no distraction. There's nothing on TV that's keeping your mind on that, and we laugh or whatever's on TV. But that time at dinner when it's just us two, it's like that silence. It's like you've come up with like, well, not just how was your day, but just having other conversations that you wouldn't have normally have had ever because of all the distractions. And it's just, I think it's beautiful.
It really is.
We-
And so many people are still living in this fast pace, multitasking at all times, that even if maybe they've eaten, created a meal that's something healthy, they're sitting down and it is in front of the TV, or standing and eating in a hurry and on their phone at the same time. It's like, we talk about where's the hook and this content, where are the reels? And it's like, people are watching TV, eating, and scrolling on their phone at the same time. Stop it. Take a minute and practice doing one thing at a time, maybe even two, maybe just
yeah,
two. Let's start with that. Let's not get crazy and just do one at a time. That would just be obscene waste of time, of course.
yeah,
Uh, Joking. Yeah, but get it down to two things: just having dinner and having conversation. It's a good start.
yeah, I agree. And when we go out to dinner sometimes, and you see those families that are, the kids are on their phone and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't have kids, so I can't really say that I wouldn't do the same thing. I don't,
Yeah,
but I'd like to think that I would want them to be present. Like, the dinners that we have at home, like it's nothing at the table. It's just us. Like to have that
yeah,
conversation. And I would like to think that I would do that if I had children too, but again, I can't speak for that. I don't know, but
yeah.
just to have the conversations with your kids and have that social connection of,
Well, I even see
you know,
people, just a couple, the kids or no kids at all, sitting at a table, and they're both on their phone the whole time. And you're like, why are you here? just get it to
Yeah.
go and go home.
Right.
You know, I really appreciate, enjoy the ambiance of going somewhere and getting that experience and having that conversation with intention. So
Mm.
yeah, I love that so much. And I've found that for me, my partnership and support with regards to health is so important for anybody on their journey, big or small. And having someone that's supporting what you're doing, having a coach that's working with you, having both. I'm out here and I've got a supportive, helpful partner and two coaches I'm working with and a supportive community. So it's like, this is the thing, people, like, it's okay to ask for help. It's safe to ask for help. And I feel like it's one of those things that is not talked about enough because you feel like you're out there on your own. And I know I've heard my mom say this plenty of times. Like, she goes in and she's done her Google search, before she goes into her doctor's appointment, and she goes in, she has this conversation, and maybe she only sees, the doctor for 5 minutes, or she sees the nurse practitioner and she's not seeing the surgeon. I mean, that was a whole thing. So she's not getting that care. She's not getting that attention. She's not getting the answers to the underlying questions and the why and the support that you get with working with someone, like working with a coach, like what you're doing. I mean, it's an ongoing process. Like, you're working hand in hand, supporting on the good days, the bad days, and everything in between, and encouraging the wins and supporting during the challenging parts. And um, just, I guess we want to share more about what that piece of it looks like and why you feel like that part is so important, because I see it, but from your perspective.
Um, I, yeah, having a coach, I mean, even I have a business coach too. So I think they are amazing. And there's so many different coaches out there that have their own niche, like what they're good at doing and helping you achieve the goal that you're wanting to achieve. So, like for me, as being a health coach and more on the metabolic side of it, I would not be a good fit for like a fitness coach, a trainer, tennis coach, anything like that. Like that's out of my realm. This is why we have coaches in every aspect to hone in on what it is that you want to achieve. And like you said, in the doctor's office, you don't have conversations. You have a 5 minute, what's going on the day, here's your script. And I'll see
Yeah.
you in 2 months. Whereas coaching is like, okay, what do we do outside of the office? What are you doing every day to have a better outcome when you go back to the doctor so they can say, whoa, wow, look at that improve. What did you do? I hired a health coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Somebody who worked with you, listened to all of the different questions, concerns that you had, created a customized plan to
Mhm.
work on the habits, the things to remove, the things to add, and had the support along the way, and trained you, coached you, taught you the tools to do it on your own. This isn't something that, hey, you need to have a coach forever. This is like, hey, let me show you how to do this. Let's put the training wheels on the bike. I'll show you how to do it. And then you take them off and you're just free. Set, just keep going. This is
Yeah.
not meant to be something that, hey, you need to take this medicine forever. You need to supplement. I think our work is like a supplement to the other activities that they're already doing, whether that's something health related or love or relationship related, and anything. It's having somebody who can help guide you along the way, support you, remind you on those moments that you forget or just need a little extra boost, because sometimes it's not about just knowing what to do. I mean, Michael Jordan knew how to play basketball, but he still had a coach to help guide him, and to see things from a different perspective. you have somebody that's on the sidelines that can see and give you a different viewpoint, that can change the entire game. You only see it sometimes from where you are. So you have somebody who has that experience, has that knowledge, has that background, has worked with other people, has seen transformations. It's like you can take what you could do on your own. If you're ready to step into it and do it, yeah, you can do it. And if you work with a coach, work with somebody who's guiding you like this, you could do it in a fraction of the amount of time and effort. That's the thing. It's like, oh, this might cost an investment of X, X amount of dollars. However, it's like you can invest X amount of dollars now to get some assistance with this and get it into control, get it into back into the green zone so much faster than just waiting and doing nothing. And then it gets worse and worse, and it takes 3 times the time to come back from it.
Yeah, 100% agree. That's a lot of when I'm on my discovery calls with potential clients. That's the one thing that one of the conversations that we have is that this isn't, you're not buying a car that's going to depreciate. You're investing in your health. You're getting a huge ROI out of this and a quicker one because knowledge is out there. It's free. Like you get out there, at least from my point of view, like from the health coaching, you're not supposed to eat a Snickers every day. Like the foods that
Yeah.
you're supposed to be eating. You're supposed to be moving. You're supposed to be eating, sleeping, and all these things. This. You have the knowledge, but most people can't take it and implement it. They can't figure out because everybody's lifestyle is different. Like, how do I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but how can I do that in my crazy life? How do I do that? And that's where coaches like come into play. Like, okay, we know this. How can we take steps to get you to that goal quicker and have that huge ROI at the end? Um, and like you said, take the training wheels off because my container's 3 months, 12 weeks. Are you going to reverse your type 2 diabetes in 12 weeks? No, no, you're not. But you're going to get to a spot where you've built the habits and you know exactly what to do and keep going. And you know exactly when to, come off a strict diet or whatever we're doing. So
Yeah,
it's,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Well, I love this. I think health is just such an important piece of should be everyone's life. I mean, we have this one vessel during this life span that we know of, at least right now. So it's like, hey, you better take care of it. And I'm connect with a lot of people in the spiritual healing community and whatnot, or people coaching on a variety of different things. And I always just have this inner feeling of if your health isn't in check, it affects everything outside of you. So when I'm working with clients and if they've got an issue that, oh, it's this big work thing that's going on, maybe it's stepping into their purpose or getting through a breakup. There's all these different pieces that go through the stories that people are trying to rewrite. And if your physical health is fighting against you at that same time, it's just going to be twice as hard. So it's one of those things that's like it is the first opportunity to take that invest in yourself to get your health in check, because when you can at least have your body, your vessel moving in the right direction with you, it can help you move through any of those other challenges much easier with way less resistance. Because if you've got a limiting belief around relationships or money or whatever, but you've got a poor relationship with yourself, with your own body, it's reflective in everything. And it's definitely a place where I put a lot of attention and priority in myself because of the experiences I had in my own life. And I always want to reiterate that to people of how important this is. Like, I know we should know this by now, but reminder, tick, 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 is this thing on? Take care of your body.
It's mind and body, not mind or body, or body or mind. It's both. You got to have both.
Thank you for joining me today, Jamie. We will put your links in the show notes if people want to reach out to you, have some questions, and want to book a discovery call to work on getting their metabolic health back in order and get them back into the green zone. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Back to the Heart. If you are ready to awaken to a life filled with joy and purpose, subscribe now to Back to the Heart on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And remember, we are all one. So let's do this together and rediscover the essence of what inspires us all. Back to the Heart. If this conversation is lighting something up in you, if you are feeling that pull to go deeper, I want to invite you into my coaching space. Whether you are just starting to untangle old stories or you are ready to fully embody your next level, your quantum leap, I offer one-on-one sessions or a transformational 4-pack designed to help you shift fast and with real support. My coaching blends nervous system work, breath work, and story alchemy. So you're not just learning, you are living your breakthroughs. You can book a free 30-minute intro call to see if it's the right fit for you. Email me at back2loveme@gmail.com. That's backtothehearttoloveme@gmail.com. Or find the link in the show notes below. Let's get you back to the heart because that is where your power lives.